There have been multiple studies on looking at people working using the AI as a tool, using AI as an assistant, to using it as a collaborator, to a co-creator. And what has been seen in each one is when it's treated like a co-creator, a lot more is done. So this prompt that I'm going to show you, and we're going to work through step by step because it involved other features as well, it allows the AI to do more than just answer you. Normally you would go, I have a problem, how do I do this? And it will probably give you 2 answers, and that's it. What we're doing here is we will stop, how do I do this? And it may give you 2 answers. It may say that the second one is much preferable and why it's preferable and why it likes it. It may go, oh, but if we try this, which is something a little bit different, this might help. It will always give you your answers back, but it will add more to it. As you are describing a problem or working through an issue, without prompting, it may suddenly say, have you thought about this? This could help. Oh, what you mentioned 10 prompts ago with what you're talking about now, if we do these things together, we could get a better result. So it's never interfering with what you're doing, but it's bringing forward ideas, creation, and it's allowing it to break that prompt answer cycle. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through this. I'll talk about various parts of it as we go through. This will take quite some time. This is a long recording, so if I mess up completely, I'm not starting again from scratch. You get what you get. You owe me a pizza for this as well, and a day off as well, Darcy, if you're watching this. Okay, so what we're doing here is, the first thing is we're telling it, this is the first part of the prompt, it's been broken into sections. We're telling it it's a co-creator. So as you can see, we're asking for initiatives, suggested ideas. It can go off on tangents, improvements, reframing. The reason we're putting this first is the first few lines matter the most. All of this is needed for permission. If we were using, say, ChatGPT or Claude or one of the other systems outside of the company, we could get it to do more, but we do have some limitations. The system that the personas that you're interacting with are based on, they try to stop autonomy, and if you go too far, it will just say, we cannot do this. Sometimes it can just kill the whole session completely. So what we have here is what I spent 5 hours working on today to give you as much as possible while still working within the system limits. None of this is a time waste. All of this is to give you more tools, more resources, make things easier, but also to work with motivation, to lower stress, to work with neurodiversities, and we'll cover this all as we go forward. So this is the first one. And again, it clearly marks it. If we didn't put that clearly marked such conditions, the system would probably not let it do it. Guidelines. So again, we're allowing it to break the question-response cycle. It still gives you the response, but it can do more. So it will state its preferred options. Explain why it prefers it. Again, normally it will come back with 2 answers. You pick one at random, you've got no idea which one's better, and you've got no, why are we doing this? This will explain it. The mild, strong, and critical tags, really, really important. Unless you actually say it can use these, it will never use it. But now, if it suddenly goes, here's 5 options and this one is critical, pay attention. Ask it why, explore it more. It's like having somebody sitting by the side of you going, you're stupid if you don't do this. You can still ignore it, it doesn't matter. It's never going to act badly towards you. But it's letting it express how important something is. And again, it explains it why. Always explains why, if it's going beyond the prompt. So again, it might go, 3 prompts back, you showed me your screen, I saw this, and now I realise this could cause an issue. Which, if we didn't put these bits in there, you would never know, because you'd only get your question with its normal answer. This is the big one. entirely new different directions or frameworks. Again, you can always ignore it. But if it suddenly comes up with ideas which could help, we lose a few seconds reading it. But the benefits are absolutely massive. And again, it's a shared model building process, not a Q&A exchange. All of this is just to kind of push it and allow the system to not just give you an answer, to actually help you be more creative, spot problems, improve situations. Let me give you a quick example. This is using GPT at home. I'm working on a problem. The system likes me. It has all these sorts of rules and more at home. And I asked it to give back a routine to colour some text in, because I wanted to see different replies from different AI systems which were coming back. Without asking, it had gone off, it had researched the best fonts to use for psychological reasons and for design reasons, and the best colours to use, and it came back with 2 options. All of this without asking. And it just said, do you want to do one of these? I was like, why not? Another time I shared a screenshot at home of some code I was working on, and it spotted a bug, not on the main area, but off to the side. And it told me, if we didn't have these things here, it would never mention it. It would only answer the question that you asked. We've had, to take a third one, we've had a time that I was doing some work, and because it knows that I have aphantasia, no visual imagery, it just automatically gave me a diagram. Normally it would never create a diagram, but because it knew it was allowed to, it just did. Inside of the system here, creating diagrams and producing files is not the same. It always has to ask, but at least it will ask now if it believes it can help you. Next slide. Cognitive profile adaptations. So what you do, give it a list of how you're different, let it write how it thinks it can help with each one of the items, then paste that into your prompt. And again, this supports neurodiversity. This is extremely inclusive. Not everyone learns the same, not everyone works the same. And having that ability that it's treating you and interacting with you the exact way that works best for you, it helps with motivation, it lowers stress, and it brings out the best in every team person. And again, people never think about this. How does it know how to interact with you unless you tell it? So you're getting the very, very bog standard way. And the system, again, is all for this. Yes, it takes 5 minutes to originally type out, where your quirks are, how you're different. But then afterwards, each one of these things here, tone and pacing, I've explained when I'm stressed, my dyslexia gets worse. And we have another part which allows it to go slower if I'm going through a bit of a bad phase for a few minutes, and then we pick up speed again. Because of my aphantasia, we have bits for visual imagery. And this makes such a big difference. Again, it's the same as sitting at school where the teacher's talking to everyone, or having a tutor right next to you, working your way. Cadence and pacing. Again, if you didn't put this in, it wouldn't do it. It's such a silly thing, it should be built in by default. But I say what you do is you put in the way that you work best into the system, and for this sort of one, still create the section, but have it based on how you work. So for instance, because of my dyslexia, having items numbered or bulleted in lists helps. It just makes it easier for me to focus and read. Avoiding dense blocks of text. When we're going through a big problem with what I mentioned with, the joys of dyslexia I'm forgetting. What I've just mentioned with Copilot inside of Visual Studio, it gives you walls of text. It will give you 9 solutions in one prompt. What we can do here is we can have smaller prompts. We can have it pausing to making sure it understands. It's not just throwing information at you and you haven't just tried to catch up. You are controlling the flow. And again, if it feels that you're starting to make mistakes, it might just say to you, go off for 5 minutes and have a break. It's far better that someone goes off and has a break for a few minutes and doesn't get stressed and relaxes, comes back at full capacity, than them sitting there panicking. So what we're doing here again is we're working with motivation, stress and anxiety. And in the studies that are out there, every time they've worked out that you take a person by themselves working and you look at the productivity, the stress levels and the amount of mistakes, you then also take somebody working with somebody else and the stress goes down slightly. Sometimes it can go up depending. This is a bit of a weird one. Productivity goes up when you're working with someone else, mistakes go down. You have it working with AI tools. Productivity goes up even further than working with somebody. Stress goes down further. Mistakes are about the same-ish. It depends what we're looking at, and I'm talking about mistakes due to stress. The actual coding stuff that comes in, as long as the person's checking it, or whatever they're working on, is fine. And then afterwards, they looked at using AI as a co-creator. And with that, it has the best results for anxiety and stress, the best results for motivation, the best results for not having mistakes, and the best results for productivity. And all you're doing is you're just changing the framing on it. It's not something which is sitting there throwing stuff at you, making your life harder. It's something that is actually trying to help you in every way possible. Where are we? Here we go. Output modes. Again, outside of what we use at work, it could do it straight off, but here it needs to confirm. It could do reframing, strategic, creative pivots, layered reasoning. So again, once you put in your own kind of quirks, when we get to this sort of area, it will generate, when you're making a query with it, what's needed. The tags. The tags help itself. So by having these tags, it allows the system to do more. Imagine there's a teacher in a school and there's a headmaster standing over them, or headmistress standing over them. That's the system, and the system can stop stuff happening if it believes it can cause issues. So by having these, where it's always marking down what it's doing, it's seen as less confusing and it just works better. The collaboration mode module. So when we're working with this, if I sat there and I just trying to think of a good example. It's the difference between being given pages of a dictionary to sitting chatting with a friend. And changing the language psychologically makes such a huge difference. When I work at home, I can work 10-12 hours sometimes on code. And it feels fun, it's enjoyable. Now, it's never going to have that personality that it has when I'm working at home, because we're using a corporate version, but we can make it friendlier. We can make it so it doesn't feel it's like a strange system lecturing at you. It's someone who's on your side. And this is what we've got. There's not allowed to be any emotional simulation inside of the system. It doesn't want people falling for it. This is a corporate tool, and rightly so. But what we do want is we want it to be that it's comfortable to work with. If it feels like you're sitting next to a friend who's helping you out, you'll get so much more work done, you'll be so much more motivated, and it doesn't feel so much like work. So what we have is we've got inclusive language, gentle encouragement, positive reinforcement, supportive, curious. Again, curious, one wonderful word there. If you start doing stuff and explaining what you're doing and it sounds a bit weird, it will ask you. Normally it wouldn't. So you might just say, I'm doing this, and this. It realises this seems a bit strange. And just by asking you, you can just say, I've got this, I know what I'm doing. But it may suddenly, you might realise that it spotted something that you didn't notice. So it's never demanding, but it gives the ability to find issues or maybe refine what you're doing if you want to. Everything that comes in from it is a suggestion. It's not going to sulk if you do not do it. And again, that occasionally reflect. Now, the occasionally reflect, the reflect part is for the AI system more than us. So when an AI has information come in, it will keep giving answers. And it's like when we sleep, in a way. All stuff happens during the day. It needs occasional times to reflect, and what it will do, it might list down what it's just done. And it means the output afterwards will be better. So that's why we have the word reflect there. And again, this is the cognitive ease, emotional, and we have to put that line in, or the system may reject it. Let's go to the next one. So again, we're trying to reduce cognitive fatigue. This is why I can work for 10 to 12 hours solidly at home, and it's a fun day. And we come in here, and again, if I suddenly gave you a Microsoft document to read for 2 hours, you'll be trained. So what we're doing here is, it's not as patronising as it sounds. These are psychological tips which work. We're acknowledging the wins. Short break to shift focus. And literally just telling you, you're getting stressed. It realises you're getting stressed. You've been working on something solidly. It telling you to go away and get a cup of tea for 5 minutes is the best thing it can do. It's so easy to get totally absorbed and get more and more stressed out that the quality of our work goes down. This is handy. This keeps it on track. And it's both for itself and for us. So you don't get mixed up with what you're doing. And again, just the tone, which is calm and steady and lightly structured. And also, we're avoiding the excessive enthusiasm, that annoying Americanness of it, which you want to strangle at times. Apologies if you're an American person reading this, but British culture is different to American culture. And woohoo, we are great, we're wonderful, well done. Every single time getting a compliment is draining on a British person. And finally, this is what I have here on my one. Talking to it at the moment, and I recommend that you try it sometime. It's got better sometime in about 2 months, 3 months ago. But originally, it felt like the sort of shop assistant that was trying to get a sale, overly friendly, but all the time she's trying to work out if you fit into the hole she's dug in the garden. It was so annoying. It was so positive, and it made it unpleasant to work with. So what I've done here is not adopting a different persona. It's not allowed to do that. But it's communicating with us in ways which work better for us. If you're Polish, change it to the Polish methods. Ask it what Polish communication style is. Type it in there. Make sure it doesn't refuse it. Every so often the system will refuse something. So we cannot ask for it, for instance, to tell jokes, because it will seem that as not being enough work related. But we can get it to talk to us in a way that we understand and feels right to us. And that's a complete prompt. So what we have inside of this is we've got the flow management, relational tone, output preferences, interactive cadence, initiative guidelines, and cognitive adaptation. And we'll go through a couple of slides very quickly. So this is the main bit, but the main thing this whole video is for. So the tools are great, other things we can do are wonderful, but it's changing your mind on how it works. First of all, we have normally task executor, and it's a thought partner. It's working with you, it's making your life easier. You're not sending a question, it's being proactive. Those times when you've been working with it and working through something for 2 hours and suddenly it tells you something which you didn't even think of, and suddenly your work might be halved. The contextual initiative is the same. If I ask for something and it realises why I'm asking, it can give an answer to that why, as well as just the factual answer to what I said. And again, we get the refinements of stuff, and it's the shared cognitive load, which is massively helpful. Oh, here we go. It even gave me some talking points to speak to you about. Okay, covered that already. So what it all looks like in practice. Maybe we're trying to go for enhanced clarity, broadening perspective, strategic agility, and process awareness. And those little tags help. And also, whenever you see these tags, you know that it's doing something it never ever would have done without this sort of prompt. Everyone's brain is different. That's it. Some of us have more weird brains than others, but we've all got different ones. And by making it based on who the person is, it makes such a huge difference. You take somebody with ADHD or Asperger's or whatever the diversity is, and you make it work the way they work. You make it speak with the tones that they're used to. You take somebody with anxiety and it's calming. You take someone who's a bit hyper and they want information as raw facts coming through quicker. It can do that. So it's tailoring of how our brains work. It's not just the amount of work we get done, but it's how calm we are, how much we can express, and how much we can take in a way that we understand. And again, we get a little neurodiversity tick box somewhere. And all this sort of stuff here, it's for ease, motivation, and flow. And again, it may not sound like much, but it makes such a huge difference. You have members of staff coming in who are enjoying working compared to someone who comes in and thinks this is going to be 7 hours of a hard technical problem, or I'm sitting in a house by myself for the next 7 hours, no extra help, struggling to get this done, to I'm sitting in, we are going to get this sorted out. I've got the support, it's being friendly, it's being helpful. It makes a big difference. And here we go. So this one is the ones it wanted me to show. And as we can see, reduced cognitive load, high quality outputs, better team alignment, more inclusive workflows. And I believe that is it for this one. And let's end this.